there is some weird shit. Like, I've seen stuff here that I can't explain. And I'm no aviation expert, but, I mean, the things I saw were weird.
This is where your second sighting happened, right?
Yeah. So I had a sighting probably 3 years ago or so. I was walking home from work, and I look up a few times a night. Like, we're all caught on our phones at a constant rate. But I happened to look up that one moment, and I saw, like, just a little light up there, probably a plane.
What general direction?
So, let's see. Let me see if I can actually find it. So this is my street here. So it had to be around where you see that really weird light in the sky, to be honest. And I look up, and it's kind of traveling really slowly, really steady. No lights blinking, no pulsation, nothing like that. It was just a constant light. I'm like, that's interesting. Moving very slowly, going in the same direction, and then immediately it clicked. I'm like, it's a satellite. Like, I dealt with this on so many occasions. And then as soon as I, gave up and was ready to go in my apartment, that satellite or whatever it was shot up into the air and disappeared. So either the satellite got, blown to hell in that moment I was looking at it, or it wasn't a satellite. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't explain it. I kind of brushed it off, maybe I saw something wrong, but it was my first time in New York City where I could legitimately say I saw a UFO.
Ryan Sprague is a playwright, podcaster, and author who has devoted his adult life to the study of UFOs and collecting stories from the phenomenon's experiencers. Today, however, he's sharing with me his story, one that begins with the merging of two obsessions, the theater and the study of UFOs, all to better voice his confusion about what these anomalous lights could really mean.
I have no idea what the hell UFOs are or what they represent. But I'm going to take down people's stories, I'm going to give my own thoughts, and then I'm going to take it from there. So I find this weird thing going on throughout my life when it came to theater, which is my passion. This is like a church to me. And UFOs, it's just like these two worlds that were separate for so long. And, in the last few years, I've tried to marry them together. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Ryan soon meets seasoned UFO investigator Peter Robbins, who, like Ryan, comes from the theater and is also responsible for authoring a landmark book detailing a now notorious UFO incident.
The 1980 Rendlesham Forest incident was always my favorite UFO case. It was like that holy grail that I always turn to when people were like, tell me a UFO story that I will believe. And that's when I told them. 1980, 60 military officers witnessed a UFO landing in a forest in England. That was the first time where I was so obsessed with a UFO case and so ready to write something for the stage again that I don't know why it hadn't dawned on me earlier. That why did I have to lead these two lives as a playwright and a ufologist? Why can't I try to do both? Would it work? I don't know, but let's try it. And it was probably the most challenging thing I'd ever done. I thought I would have it down. I thought this thing would just bleed out of me and it'd be done in a month. I spent 6 months on the first fucking page of that play, just not knowing where to start it or what to do or how to convey a UFO on a stage. I knew I had to get there eventually, but how would you even do that? So it was rough. And as this was all happening, there was a lot of pushback about the play and a lot of pushback with the Rendlesham Forest incident, where the military witness I was focusing on may have been less than honest about his involvement in all this. So I had dedicated almost a year and a half to writing this play and meeting with Peter Robbins once a month to discuss what were you doing then, where were you in your life, do you remember any conversations you had, and just writing everything down and going home and trying to create this world for the stage. And then I come to find out that the actual witness to this event that I also wanted to focus on might not have even been there that night. And it broke my heart that I had dedicated so much time to this UFO case and these two individuals. I kind of gave up at that point. I just said, fuck it, put it on the shelf. It's never going to happen. And then I had the opportunity to do one of these like festivals here in New York. All these downtown theaters do it, throw on 10, 20 plays for a night. It's fun. And I was like, okay, I want to write something new. I'm going to write a 10-minute play. And I decided to contact one of the other witnesses to the Rendlesham Forest incident, and who was actually there. There is documentation of that. And I wrote a one-man play, 10-minute play, about his experience. And it premiered in New York on Halloween night, and people loved it. They absolutely loved it. And it was just this guy recalling what had happened to him in that forest that night when he saw a UFO for the first and maybe last time in his life, and how it affected his life. And that's what I do. That's what I write about, the people having these experiences. I was an actor for a while, so like I've seen both sides of it, and there's always this barrier between the audience and the performers. I mean, that's why a stage exists, or why they say break the fourth wall. You know, there is this invisible wall between you, and I always found that fascinating. It's like human beings sitting in a chair watching other human beings recreate some sort of reality or altered reality or their own reality. And I always found that with UFOs, it was kind of the same thing. Like when I had my sighting, I was looking up at something and there was a wall there. I could see what was beyond the wall, but I had no idea what it was or how to interpret what it was doing. Was it trying to give me some sort of message? I don't know. So I found it really interesting that like with a UFO sighting, we are an audience to something being played out. And what it is going to be something different for every person.